New wave of sometimes violent protests following the decision not to charge a Missouri police officer in the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson. Crowds overturned police cars as more than 2,000 National Guard troops were called up to keep order in the area there. Here in the city, demonstrators caused big disruptions at bridges, tunnels, and major roadways. Despite police barricades, protesters who'd been marching on Riverside Drive sworn and stopped traffic on the West Side Highway as well. For more on the protest, CBS 2's Andrea Grymes joins us live from Union Square this morning. Andrea.
Well, Chris, protesters also marched here in Union Square. Luckily for commuters this morning, those protests have completely died down. It was very difficult for people to get around the city last night as demonstrators took over several parts of our area.
Hands up! Hands up!
Protesters surrounded our Mobile 2 vehicle last night as they took over the West Side Highway. From the West Side to Times Square to 34th Street. Hundreds came out to demonstrate against the grand jury's decision not to indict police officer Darren Wilson for shooting and killing 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri.
It's not just about Mike Brown, it's about all the people that have passed, all the people that have been murdered.
The NYPD also came out in force, letting protesters march until they targeted the Lincoln Tunnel and tried to shut down the entrance. A tense standoff delayed traffic for about half an hour.
I got a little nervous, so I was hoping it didn't get out of hand.
It didn't until the crowd moved on to Times Square.
Michael Brown!
And ignored repeated warnings to step back off the street. Several officers carried this man away. They arrested at least 10 people. On the east side, a separate protest group wreaked havoc on the FDR Drive, shutting it down in both directions. And in Brooklyn, demonstrators took to Flatbush and DeKalb Avenues. All of this as Officer Wilson spoke out for the very first time. He told ABC News when he first encountered Brown, he asked him to get out of the middle of the street. Wilson says Brown cursed at him. Then he noticed the 18-year-old matched the description of a suspect who had just stolen cigars from a local store.
As I was opening the door, I said, "Hey, come here for a minute." And that's when he turned and said, "What the are you going to do about it?" and slammed my door shut on me.
Wilson says Brown punched him and went for his gun. He says there was a struggle and Brown took off. In their final encounter, Wilson says he thought Brown would tackle him, so he had no choice but to shoot.
He gets to about 8 to 10 feet, and as he does that, he kind of starts to lean forward like he's going to tackle me. And I looked down my barrel of my gun and I fired, and what I saw was his head, and that's where it went.
Back here in New York, several protesters last night were also cursing out the NYPD. No word on any serious injuries, or no reports, I should say, of any injuries last night. No word on any protests planned for today. Reporting live in Union Square, Andrea Grymes, CBS 2 News.